Hey guys, here's the LG G2 in 2018. I'm going to make this review a little more organized than my review of the S3. So tell me what I'm doing wrong in a constructive way so I can improve and make more entertaining content. Let's start this off with one of the most used features of a smartphone, the camera. The camera will normally give you an okay or bad shot. I have never got a really good shot out of it. I've also noticed the camera tends to get reds wrong or put a really red tint to browns. The other thing this camera tends to do is put a bluish into every photo. It's on the cool side most of the time. When you zoom in any amount or look closely at the photos it produces, you'll notice that there are almost never clean edges. They're all a little fuzzy, and that's the word I would use to describe this camera, is fuzzy. The one thing that I think could save this camera a little more is a Pro mode, which the G2 sadly does not have. I'm talking about software of the camera. It's kind of all over the place and leaves the desire for something better. On the topic of something better would be low light photos. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The low light photos are super grainy and soft. Just don't use this camera in low light. Well, let's move on to the next topic. This is one of the things about the phone that would always frustrate me. The battery capacity is 3000 milliamps, but the phone's battery life sucked really bad. You would get about the same screen on time as the Galaxy S3 nowadays. And my battery isn't even degraded enough for it to be this bad. There's another bad thing about the G2 that is exclusive to the Verizon model, which I have. The battery is not removable like all other models of the G2, but there is a good thing that kind of makes up for the non-removable battery, which is wireless charging. Yes, you heard me right, this phone from 2013 has wireless charging. For most of you guys that know anything about smartphones around that time would have heard enough, but for those of you guys who don't, it's one of the only phones that had wireless charging at its time. The software is the same situation as almost all of the Android phones in 2013. Super bad. There's a but though. The phone has the least laggy OS that I have used from its time apart from an iPhone. That's not to say it's perfect though. The phone is running the classic bloated LG skin as all other LG phones, so it has the double tap to wake feature. I ran into a huge problem with it, and that's not the boot looping or small thing that is frustrating. This bug that I'm talking about makes your phone unusable. Sometimes when I go to turn the phone on by the power button or by double tapping on the phone screen, it would turn on then turn off. Even if I was able to get to the home screen during this, it would turn off. The worst part about it, you can't do a thing about it. You turn it on, the screen turns on for a fraction of a second, and the second, oh my gosh, I can't talk, and turns off without any animation. It would sometimes do this for 10 minutes at a time. The build of the phone is not anything special, it's not good, it's just okay. There's not much to say here other than the phone is really thick and feels cheap. If you look closer at the phone, you'll notice the LG logo fell off, just to give you an example of that poor build quality. The screen on this phone is really good, especially for its time. It's a 1080p IPS display that can get fairly bright and has somewhat accurate colors, other than the browns in Minecraft. It adds a reddish tint to them. The screen also has a lot in common with modern smartphone displays, like it being really big at 5.3 inches, and it having a really slim bezels. But I have noticed on the side bezel of the screen, it has a gap between the white bezel on the side of this phone. There is an equally large black bezel the size of the white one. The specs of the G2 are pretty good, and they're still better than most budget phones nowadays. The phone has a Snapdragon 800 SoC with an Adreno 330 GPU and 2GB of RAM. It also has a 13 megapixel rear camera and a potato front camera, along with a 5.3-inch 1080p IPS display, a 3000 mAh battery with 32GB of non-expandable storage. Consuming media on this phone is good, not great, just good. When I had the phone, my main uses for it were gaming, watching videos, and music, so I'll focus on those topics more. Gaming was good back when I was using it, but now the most gaming you're going to do with this phone is light gaming. You're not going to be able to play Minecraft even at the lowest settings. There's no Shadowgun Legends, and any huge graphics game won't run good. And before you guys start an argument over Minecraft isn't that demanding, go get an Android phone with a Snapdragon 820 SoC and try to play it. It does not play very good. And to get one with a Snapdragon 835, you can play it. But those phones are still around $400. Now go get an iPhone 5S with an Apple A7 SoC. The iPhone 5S will play Minecraft better than the 820 Android phone. The iPhone has basically zero lag at 60 FPS, and the 820 phone with 6 chunks render distance and a non-fancy graphics, along with no smooth lighting, still can't even make it to 30 FPS. It lags so bad, and I did reset my Android phone to see if it was still like it. It was still like it. Should you get the phone is the next question. The answer is yes if you're looking to only use it as a phone, but the answer is no if you're going to be using it for any more demanding tasks. So I hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you guys later.